let's just start and just get this out of the way. Kevin Spacey is a phenomenal actor, one of the best I've ever seen. His portrayal in multiple films, whether it was The Usual Suspects, whether it was in Seven, of course, American Beauty, of which he won the Best Actor Oscar. He won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for The Usual
House
Suspects.
of Cards.
House of Cards as President Frank Underwood. He is, look, there was a movie he made with Jeff Bridges that I thought that he was great, and it was K-Pax.
Love that. I love that movie. Yeah,
and he was great. He is a thespian of the highest order, but he is a predator. I don't care that there is a not guilty verdict. There are too many stories of him abusing. This type of thing, that type of thing doesn't just get made up by one, two, or a dozen people saying that there was
You did email Medea. I'm sorry. You did email Medea the link, right?
Yes, I did. But you can confirm with her if you
need. No. She just logged on. She just texted me and says, I don't see a Zoom. Are we still on? And I'm like, we sent a stream here. I just wanted to make sure. Sorry.
Yes, I sent it earlier.
Okay.
So I do think that, from his perspective, do I think that he wants to get back into acting? Absolutely. It's all he knows. This is his life's work. And you know what? He's great at it.
I just feel like we're at a point now where it's like, I'm not minimizing anything that he did. I'm really not, because I think it's gross. And I think anybody who preys on people is gross. But it's like, we're getting to the point where we're not going to be able to watch anybody. And that's what's so depressing about it. I mean, it's, he doesn't obviously, to me, reach like the Bill Cosby level, but he definitely falls on that side of the spectrum. And it's just not good. And yes, Usual Suspects was a phenomenal movie, Kaiser Sose. But it's just not good. Do I think of him like I think of Bill Cosby or even Roman Polanski or no, or Woody Allen? No. But again, it's a very wide spectrum.
Yeah, and again, his story has to do with basically forcing himself on people. Various forms of sexual assault. Now, thank goodness, there's no stories of. At least based on what I've read, there aren't stories of forcible rape and things like that.
Right.
Which obviously would put him in the category of the Bill Cosbys and Roman Polanskis of the world. Nevertheless, it doesn't take away from the fact that he was an abuser and he took advantage of his position, as a lot of people at that level do tend to do. Kevin Spacey is a legitimate A-list actor.
I don't know that he'll ever come back to that. I don't know.
No.
I mean, Mel Gibson hasn't been able to come back. Some people are just, they just have such a vibe about them that they're sort of like irredeemable.
I will let you know Mel Gibson is coming back. He's in the Continental, the spinoff of John Wick, as one of the main people.
Okay, so that is not a selling point to me, Colin. Mel Gibson did Braveheart and The Patriot, and so no, being in a John Wick sequel is not a comeback.
The Patriot is one of my favorite movies.
I have a lot of anger about Mel Gibson because both Braveheart and The Patriot are amazing movies that I loved, and now I can't even watch them. And by the way, Heath Ledger in The Patriot was just delicious. So it's like now I can't even watch that because I can't even stomach Mel Gibson because he disgusts me.
Well, the problem with Mel Gibson is that he is a legitimate anti-Semite. It's not a one-off situation where he was caught on a hot mic, just basically saying that, Hollywood is Jewville and all that stuff. No, he has made it very clear in his art and in his personal life that he does not care for the Jewish community. And that's on him. If you're going to judge it, again, it's one thing if you're going to judge the Jewish community exclusively on the likes of, let's say, the Rothschilds or the George Soroses of the world and say that they're a bad representation of the Jewish community at large.
Yeah.
Then to take it a whole step further and say that all Jews are like this.
Well, see, you know what? And this would be, See, now this would be almost like, you're right. Like if it was one bad take then you'd have like a Michael Richards situation, right? Like where somebody just sort of went off and lost their cool or whatever. But the thing with Mel Gibson is it isn't even just the anti-Semitic rant, the fact that his father never accepted Vatican II. So he was raised before. He's not even up to the current Vatican rules. Like that's how old school his dad raised him. But like all of that
this is also part of the reason why I cannot for the life of me stand any of this bull BS when it comes to the church and how it affects the ability to do their art.
But let me just finish, because the bigger issue with him to me is that he's an abusive bully. Okay, so the stuff and the recordings of him, how he spoke to his girlfriend at the time, like the way that he spoke to her, that's disgusting. And it doesn't matter whether or not he beat her up or she ended up in the hospital. None of that necessarily needs to happen for me to find somebody to be disgusting. And the way he spoke to her, this is also my issue with Christian Bale. When I hear somebody speak to people, which is why I don't like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, when I hear people talk to people in such a despicable, condescending manner, I cannot with them. So that's my thing with Mel Gibson. It's not the one rant.
I agree. And that's also the thing about Spacey is that he was known for being a complete jackass and just a nasty, nasty guy, very difficult to work with, as is the case of a lot of these, A-list stars as they basically become, products of their own hubris, if you will, thinking that whatever they do is correct. In his case, he was a great talent. And it's a question of how much of that great talent do you want to put up with if you're in the industry?
Okay, hold on. She doesn't see that email. So it goes
you want me to resend it?
Yeah, Medea. You know her email.
Yes, I know her.
I'm going to read it.
Well, yeah.
But make sure you put the dot.
No, I did do that.
Okay.
And I'm going to send it again.
Okay. All right. I'm telling her we're resending.
So I do think that, Spacey is 100%, he is going to get another opportunity. Somebody is going to take a chance on him. And if he's in a film, people are going to go see it.
That I would. To me, he has not crossed over. I'm just saying, to me, like, I don't look at him and feel repulsed that I couldn't even sit through a movie. I don't. So and I'm not saying that couldn't at some point happen based on future behavior, but at this point right now, he hasn't ruined House of Cards for me. Like, I feel like Bill Cosby has destroyed my childhood. You know what I mean?
The funny thing is, at the end of the last episode that he was in House of Cards, if they had ended it with Robin Wright looking at the camera saying "my turn," which of course was a direct shot at Hillary Clinton, that would have been the perfect way to close the series. He admitted his guilt. He was clearly going down. The House of Cards had completely fallen apart.
But I think, there's more to it than that. You had probably other people had contracts for more seasons. I mean, I don't know that, what they were already tied into at the point that this all went down with him. So they're not going to necessarily screw a whole bunch of cast and crew based on that. I mean, there's other people involved, as we see from our friends over at SAG-AFTRA.
Spacey's trial involved 4 complaints against the actor, including one from a man who alleged that Spacey repeatedly grabbed his crotch while he served as creative director of London's Old Vic Theatre in the early 2000s. Spacey admitted to a consensual relationship with the man that involved some touching, but insisted that he respected the man's boundaries. A second man accused Spacey of pinning him against a wall and grabbing his crotch at a charity event in 2005. Though Spacey denied ever meeting the individual, while a third alleged that after meeting Spacey at a pub, he and a group went back to the actor's rented house in Gloucestershire. Did I say that right? Gloucestershire?
It's Sheer.
I got it right without you correcting me, so that's good. Where Spacey allegedly kissed his neck, grabbed his penis, and said, "Be cool, be cool." Spacey described the encounter as a clumsy pass he made while drunk and later tried to apologize for, though he denied it was a sexual assault. Meanwhile, the most serious complaint, causing a person to engage in penetrative sexual activity, carried a potential life sentence had Spacey been convicted. This one involved a fourth man who alleged that he woke up at Spacey's London apartment and found the actor performing sex on him, believing he may have been rendered unconscious somehow by the actor. Spacey described the encounter as consensual and provided telephone records that contradicted the alleged victim's account. So there you go. And what I can say is when you're rich and you have access to the best lawyers money can buy, there's always a way of creating reasonable doubt. And that is essentially what happened. And that is why Kevin Spacey is a free man.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.